Yay. So thank you all for coming on board today. I'm really happy to be here. I am in California, Los Angeles area. Just gave a giant talk yesterday, and now I'm giving a talk for all of you sitting down, which I don't usually do, but I'm in a hotel room and that's how I'm doing it. Stepping into the stretch zone here. Welcome. I want to say thank you to HPHC and Tufts Health Plan for inviting me to talk about positive psychology, the science of happiness, or how to be happier, less stressed, and more resilient. Raise your hand if you'd like to. Nope, forgot. We're online here. Type yes in the chat if you'd like to be a little less stressed, a little more resilient, a little bit happier. Let's see if you're in the right place at the right time. Let's see if you're even listening. I know we have folks on here, but it's always more fun when people use the chat so we can see how people are feeling. I think a lot of us might be feeling a little bit, let me guess, overwhelmed, anxious, stressed, exhausted, worried. Just type in the chat if you relate to any of those words right now. Anxious, overwhelmed, stressed, worried. Anybody in the last day, week, or month feel any of those emotions? Okay, here they come. Thank you. It's always more interesting when we participate. So before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about who I am. My name is Pam Garamone. I'm a positive psychology keynote speaker, and I'm a former elementary school teacher, head of a nonprofit, and now I get to help people feel less miserable or happier. So if that's why you're here, that's amazing. Today, in particular, this presentation is going to be about dopamine. It's kind of a three-way thing going here. Dopamine, what it is and how we get it, and also how to create healthier habits. 'Cause we all know, we have knowledge. There's not going to be anything here you haven't heard before. There's not going to be like, what? Sleep is a happiness booster? Eating healthy? Exercise? No, none of it is going to be a surprise. But knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. So, really, what you want to do is you hear things today, you already know them, but think, how can I put one of these things into practice? That's the whole idea, to take action on at least one, really just one of these things. So, let's begin. I always start with the quokka. It's known to be the happiest animal on earth. It lives in Rottnest Island off the coast of Australia. And people fly from all over the world to take selfies with the quokka. And I like to start with this adorable animal because it just makes me feel good to look at it. And really, positive psychology is two things. First, make yourself feel good by doing any one of the dopamine boosters you're going to hear today. Second, make the people around you feel good, and you will feel happier, less stressed, and more resilient. That's really what it is in the very basic sense. Now, why does happiness matter? Sean Achor is a TED Talk speaker, and if you want to go deeper into this, check out his TED Talk. It has over 50 million views. He says our brain on positive performs better than on negative, neutral, or stress. Just type yes in the chat if that makes sense to you. When we feel good, we do good, right? You come into work today and you're like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. Good things you start noticing and good things come to you. You come into work and you're like, oh, Wednesday only, that energy, then that energy comes back to you. So just kind of notice, like, where is your happiness level today, mid-August 2025? We're going into the fall pretty soon, surprisingly. If one is living your worst possible life and 10 is living your best possible life, What? You don't have to put this in the chat, but just think, where would you put yourself right here, right now? One, worst possible life, 10, best possible life. And by the way, the goal of positive psychology is not to be a 10 all the time. If you were a 10 all the time, no one would like you because it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I'll tell you, this summer's been a rough one for me. I broke and fractured my ankle, two places. I got super sick on the fast ferry from Boston to P-Town, where I ended up in an ambulance. Um, yeah, I mean, it's been a really, really unexpected summer. So I would say, on the happiness ladder, there were times when, I've been in a boot for 7 weeks, kind of a lower number. But then also at the same time, hard things are happening. There's always something good. So I got a lot of attention wearing this boot and a lot of cards and people asking me what I need and taking me places because I couldn't drive all summer. So that's life, right? We have highs, we have lows, and amidst all of the stresses, unexpected surprises, good and bad, that we're always looking for good things that can help us move up that happiness ladder. So it's kind of like this, I think the antidote to stress, anxiety, injuries, illnesses, bad news is looking for these little boosts of positivity because no matter how dark it can seem, there's always something good. There's always someone who gives you a free cup of coffee. There's always someone who maybe gives you a hug. There's always something good if we choose to look in that direction. And that's really what today is about. Not that hard things don't happen, but that when they do, we know how to move through them, not faster, but whenever we're ready. So let's talk about our main focus today, which is dopamine. Just type yes in the chat if you've heard of dopamine. And really, do you even know what it means? Like we always hear about this word, but what does it actually mean to have a hit of dopamine? It's really a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical in our brain that plays a major role in motivation, rewards, pleasure, and movement. It's a feel-good neurotransmitter, but the way it's released is by taking actions towards a goal. It's not like oxytocin, that's the love neurotransmitter where you get a hug and you get that whoop, whoop, whoop. This one, you kind of have to work for dopamine hits. They don't just happen. You have to really make things happen for the dope. What did I just do? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What did I just do? Oh, gives me a chance. Oh, thank you. Gives me a chance to say whenever you make a mistake. My Harvard professor used to say, fail often and fail big. And when you fail, just say, how fascinating. What can I learn from this? I don't know. Okay, so here we go with the dopamine. So what dopamine is the motivation chemical. It craves reward, goal seeking. It helps us feel driven and focused and satisfied. So we get dopamine when we check off to-do lists, when we hit small goals, whenever we try something new, and really the receptors for dopamine are more open when we are healthier. When we exercise, we get good sleep and we eat healthier. So if you're looking for more dopamine, it's also tied into eating well, exercise, and sleep. And by the way, if anyone has any questions as we're going along here, please feel free to type them in the chat and we will get to those questions as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this dopamine neurotransmitter. Again, it's basically about achieving small goals. Whenever we cross something off a to-do list, whenever we run, walk, do things that we say we were going to do, that's when we get that little boop, little feel-good chemical in our brain. And the idea here is it's small goals. It's not, I'm going to run the marathon. It's really, you're going for small, small goals. Okay. Having a little bit of a challenge here on different setup, but please bear with me. Here come the chat again. Okay. Sorry about that. How fascinating. All right, so we're going to talk about five. Oops, I am really messing up here. Okay, let's see. Now, I'm going to share with you five dopamine boosters, some examples of each one, and how to make one of them a habit. Okay, so let's go. The first one is investing in close relationships. This is the single most powerful thing you can do to be happier. Many of you might have heard of the Robert Waldinger Harvard Medical School study where they studied people back in the 1930s, same people, the ones that make it to the 80s and 90s happy, healthy, are people who have close relationships. That is the number one thing you can do to live a healthy, happier life. An example is if you have a loving marriage, that's a bonus, but not necessary. A partner, again, bonus, but not absolutely necessary, but what is necessary is close friends and family. We need people to laugh with, cry with, do fun things with. We need people. Ah, what is happening here? Oh my goodness. All right, so you might be like, duh, who doesn't know that? But how? Like, how can we invest in our relationship? So here are just a couple of things. Again, you want to start small and make them daily habits. So starting small could be investing in relationships, whether it's a partner, workmate, friend, family member. What if you pick sending a text or email every morning, every day? You pick at least one, maybe make a list of all the people in your life, and then write a text message or email praising or thanking that person. Sean Acor says this is the one thing that completely changed his life. Another one of my mentors writes 3 thank you notes every single day. He has a stack on his desk of cards and envelopes, and he just pulls 3 out every day. Actually has a box with the names of everyone on his staff, which is hundreds of people, his friends, his family. Pulls out 3 names a day, and that way he's going to get to everyone. And then he writes a thank you message or note to each person. Light up. What that means is this is Maya Angelou's quote, which she says that when you see a child, does your face light up? But I would expand it to when you see anyone, does your face light up? Are you enthusiastic? Or are you like, hey, great to see you? Huge difference. We're starving to feel seen, valued, and appreciated. It's so easy to make somebody's day. Light up. Be like, oh, hey, hi. I'm in California right now, and it's completely different. You walk in a store and they're so friendly. They start a conversation with you. It just feels really good. Again, we're starving to feel seen, valued, and appreciated. And it's really easy. When you go home today, if you have a partner and you haven't seen him in 8 hours, light up. Be like, Bob, it's been 8 hours since I've seen you. Might think you've been drinking all day, but it feels good and it's just super easy. Light up to everyone, the person in the grocery store, person in the cubicle next to you. Hey, how's it going? Super easy. Just going to check the chat real quick if anybody has any comments or questions. Don't see any, so let's keep going. All right, next. Give compliments. Mark Twain said I could live off a good compliment for 3 months. Because most people are super stingy with their compliments, and it's just super easy. Make it sincere. I remember once I was looking for a school, I couldn't find it. I pulled over, and this guy was like, "Oh, I mean, I don't know where it is, but I'm so glad you stopped by because it gives me the chance to say what beautiful eyes you have." I was like, oh, when I found the school I walked in, I was like, I have beautiful eyes. I mean, I'm telling you that happened probably 10 years ago, and I still remember that compliment because they're so rare. People are typically super stingy with their compliments, but a compliment can light somebody up. It can give them that little extra energy, that positivity boost, that dopamine hit to handle their next tough thing. And you ever hear this, you never know what hard thing somebody's going through, but if you give them a compliment, it could help them get through that hard thing. Next, join a club. I think you all maybe have heard of this epidemic of loneliness going around in the US. Join a club. When we join a club, one, we feel like we belong. It's a huge happiness boost, dopamine boost to feel like we belong, that we share an interest with somebody else, that somebody else loves stamp collecting, somebody else loves to play bridge. It gives you that commonality that makes us get a dopamine boost. And then you're like, how? I don't have time to join a club. But here, if you break it down into small steps, every single thing, and again, with dopamine, taking one little tiny action is what releases that neurotransmitter. So maybe it's joining a church group. Maybe it's a game, playing games with people, playing sports, playing card games with folks, a book club, dinner club, movie club, just thinking of what is something you're passionate about. Start your own, look online. There's tons of ways to be involved in something you love with other people. Stop here for a second and check the chat. Does anybody belong to a club that's not listed here that maybe will give somebody else an idea? We'll check the chat in a bit to see if there's anything there. Next, novelty and learning. Friends, human beings, we love to learn. If you've ever felt bored, blah, stuck, it's probably because you stopped challenging yourself. You stopped learning something new. It could be traveling to a new place, trying something new, learning something exciting. All of these things trigger dopamine. We love learning. So how? One thing is reading. Those people I mentioned in the Waldinger health study, they're readers, they're learners, and those are the people that live the longest, healthiest, happiest lives. Number one, they invest in their relationships, and two, they're lifelong learners. Staying active mentally. Maybe it's just putting on your to-do list, watch one documentary this week. Learn, learn, learn. There's research that shows that if you spend 18 minutes a day learning something new, at the end of the year, you will be better than 95% of the population at that thing. So say it's piano. Watch a Google video, 18 minutes of piano practice a day, you'll be better at piano than 95% of the population. Learning a language, starting to run, whatever it is. 18 minutes. You set the timer on your phone. You pick that time of day where you can do 18 minutes. And again, any way you can add learning into your life or something new, could be visiting a new restaurant, finding a new pathway to get to work, going to a new park, anything that we do that's new and novel or something we learn, it triggers the dopamine, that feel good chemical in our brain. And our brain loves to learn, but we just kind of get in ruts sometimes and we don't do it. So I'm seeing a garden club, crafting club. Those are awesome. Yay. Thanks for sharing, giving folks some ideas. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right. Those are those ones. Next one is transcend yourself with faith or philosophy. Philosophy. Feeling like there's something, we're connected to something bigger than ourselves. Could be nature, could be anything that makes you know you're not alone here on Earth. We're just this tiny little speck in a giant universe, but it helps to feel that we're connected to something bigger than ourselves. This is science-based, evidence-based. People who are happier have faith or follow a philosophy or feel like they're part of something bigger. So what can we do? Small, everything is small steps. Maybe you revisit religion. Maybe you didn't like it when you were growing up or something turned you off about it. But uh, the science shows that people who have faith are happier, and at the same time, they don't know if it's because when you're in a faith community, you have people and people are the number one happiness booster and belonging. So that's kind of a question mark there. Maybe study the Stoic philosophies or any other philosophers. And here's an interesting tidbit. Students that took an astronomy class in undergraduate college were happier than those who didn't. You might be like, what? It's because when you study astronomy, you see how big and beautiful the world is, and you feel a connection to, again, this transcendence to something bigger than ourselves. Next, you're like, get more physical exercise, pick up heavy things. We're humans, we need to move. Our bodies were born to move. But in this day and age, I'm sitting right now, you're probably sitting at work. We need to make an intention every single day to move this body. We feel better, we get dopamine hits when we move our bodies. And again, here's the question, how? I don't have time to work out. I don't have time. But the tiniest, smallest thing, again, dopamine is setting a goal and then just a small step towards it gives you that hit of dopamine. Our brain wants to feel good, so it will keep looking for ways to feel that dopamine by adding to it. So, cardio, strength training, walk. Stanford University research shows that dancing 10 minutes a day, Kelly McGonigal's research, again, Stanford University, she found the number one best thing you can do is just find 10, I don't even care if it's 3 minutes, turn on some music and jump around, dance, moving our body to music, and bonus if you dance with other people because that connects you to people in a very powerful way. When we move in sync with other people, it's a huge happiness booster. Okay, so those are the five dopamine boosters or happiness habits. And now let's talk a little bit about habits. How do we make these? You're like, I know all these things, but how do I make them a habit? Reminders. Reminders are you have a note on your bathroom mirror, you have a note on your phone, an app on your phone. I'm using Atomic Habits free app where it every time you do what you say you're going to do. Right now, my new habit that I'm working on is read 25 minutes a day, and it's on my app on the phone, and then it gives me a little ding whenever I do it, that little dopamine hit. So we need reminders. Otherwise, we got to put it in our calendars when we're going to do it and remind ourselves to do it. Otherwise, we get overwhelmed. We get busy, we don't do it. So you need a physical reminder, whether it's a timer on your phone, a written post-it note. We need reminders, constant reminders. So this was when I was trying to make water a habit. I had the bottles all lined up. I used the Atomic Habits app for that, and now it's a habit. I drink my water every day. I don't have to think about it. I've made it a habit. I do it at the same time, first thing I wake up. You could have reminders such as this, visuals. Again, you could have your lists on this is on the inside of my closet. We need reminders. And then in order to make it a habit, we need repetition. We have to keep doing it over and over and over and over. If you think of anything that is a habit for you right now, it's because you do it at the same time every single day. Does anybody here drink coffee every morning? That's a habit, you know? And the reason is you do it probably the same time every single day and you repeat it day, day, day. If you brush your teeth every day, it's because your mother told you when you were young and you did it first thing right after bread, whenever you do it. And you did, repeat, repeat. And now you don't have to play Rocky to brush your teeth because it's a part of who you are. In fact, it's a ritual. So probably all of these are rituals for you, drinking, you shower every day, hopefully. And just think, how did you make these a habit? And if you made these a habit, you could make any other healthy dopamine inducing habit a habit. All right, next, going a little deeper into how to make a habit in the last 5 minutes that we have together. I love this book by BJ Fogg. And basically, here's his formula: how to make happiness habits. Start small, tiny. He says if you don't floss every day, just after you brush your teeth, you just floss one tooth. And then pat your back self on the back, high five yourself in the mirror, smile, you celebrate your win. But start tiny. And the whole idea, one of his other examples was after I pee, I will do one push up and then I will high five myself in the mirror. The thing is, though, after I pee, I'm already down there. I did one, I can do two, I can do three. Now he's up to 50 push-ups. After every time he pees, he gets down and does push-ups. So here's how you make this, if you choose this way of making habits, you think of something that you always already do. Like you always already get out of bed in the morning. You always already maybe brush your teeth. You always get dressed. So you just write down a habit, a behavior that you always already do every day. And then you attach a new behavior to that. So for example, quickly when I wanted to stretch more, my thing was after I put anything in the microwave, whether it was 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, anytime I put something in the microwave, I will stretch. So sometimes it's 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 30, whatever it is. And now I stretch. And it's tiny, but it doesn't matter, right? You still get that dopamine hit because I said I was going to do it, I do it. And then you always add a celebration. Here's the formula. After I, whatever you always already do, I will, your new tiny, tiny behavior. Another example, if you want to start walking, you just put your shoe on. You don't even go out. After I put my workout clothes on, I put a sneaker on. And then since you already have one on, you put the other, well, I already have my sneaks on, I might as well go out. You see how it kind of builds and then you celebrate. Pat yourself on the back, maybe get up a dance, whatever is a celebratory moment for you. Okay, folks, we're already at the end. I want to end with gratitude. First of all, thank you all for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit about dopamine and how you can make these happier habits. Let me see. Yeah, and I'm happy to stick around if anybody has any questions. Thank you to Harvard Pilgrim Health, and I hope that send me an email. Let me know what you made a new habit. If any of this made sense to you, I'd love to hear from you. Um, yeah, so thank you to Harvard Pilgrim. Let me see what's in the chat here. Thank you. Yeah, well, thank you. And the best thing you can do after hearing something is something tiny. Maybe write in your notes right now one tiny thing you learned that you can put in action to. Because the whole point is not knowing things, but doing things, right? That make us feel happier.